In this video, I will give you 10 easy tips to make your boring house that looks like this into a beautiful house that looks like this. If you learned something, please consider subscribing, and let's get to tip number 1. So the first tip that you can make to make your house just a little bit better looking is just adding logs to the end. Proceed. Just add some texture to it. Tip number 2. Alright, this next tip is a bit of a bigger one. Another one that kind of goes with this is using stripped logs instead of just normal logs, since it just kind of like throws off the look of the house a little bit and just makes it look a little more unique. You make sure though, one of the biggest mistakes I see is people putting it only one off, and that just looks so weird. So make sure when you're doing this to make it one off the house or more. And you don't have to put these at the end, but I do just because it kind of, so it's not just like one straight line. It's kind of something easy. Yeah, but this is a good tip to learn though, because this will like make your house look so much better. And now tip number 4. Alright, this next tip is pretty simple. It's just adding greenery. Something as simple as that can just change up the way your house looks by just like throwing in something new. If you really want to, you can also put trapdoors like on the sides. You don't need to, but I mean, it does look nice. Tip number 5. Add windows. But instead of like having it just like this, which kind of looks kind of plain, you can just add like details like this and then put like flower pods here, or you can just put like another grass thing and then like that, just to like kind of throw off the detail of your house so it doesn't look like just a flat wall. We're gonna change now into a bigger house. So we'll keep the same design as that house, like the roof and everything, and we'll just build it like bigger. And now tip number 6. Don't make your house a square like that. Like you can see, it's just a box. Don't do that. Make something different with your house. I like going around with one block and just like drawing something of like how I want it to look. And yeah, and now you'll just build it up. Alright, so I just finished building this house with most of the concepts from that one on here, like the roof, the windows. Now look at this and tell me what's wrong.
Know what I'm doing!
Now, there's multiple things wrong with this. First of all, there's no like leaves or anything. It's just really, really boring. Like that right there, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. That really looks bad. So there's a lot of ways you can fix this though. Let's get to tip number 7. So first off, you want to bring these pillars all the way up. If you're gonna have pillars at the bottom, bring them all the way up to the top so it doesn't change the look of the house. Like that already looks a little bit better. I mean, it still looks dumb because we haven't implemented everything, but I mean, it still looks a little bit better than it was because it adds some sort of texture. Speaking of texture, I know I said to have spruce wood or like to strip the wood, but sometimes you don't want it all stripped. So you're gonna like randomize the stripped and unstripped stuff. And then something like that already changes the house and it makes it look more interesting already. One of my favorites, tip number 8. One of the things we have to change here is the windowing. I started recently really liking ditching the windows for things like this out in the front where there's this big gap. Instead, we're making like a cool design all the way up. Now something like that already changes up how the house looks dramatically. Like that looks way better. And we'll get to the other side and that part later. But right now, this already looks so much better. It just adds something different to the house instead of just a blank face. This is one of my favorite new things I like to do. You don't want to just have a doorway leading out to a patio. If no mobs can get to it, what I like to do is like doing the same thing I did there. Like leave it open, but still make it like a little bit interesting, like something like this. So it's like a little walkway. Now sometimes there isn't much you can do, like the windows here. These should stay the same, but you can do stuff about this and like this stuff around the door. So this doesn't make it so anything can get in, like creepers or anything, they still can't get in through this, but it still looks better. Just to spice it up a little bit, and then you want to add that greenery. You want to do all that greenery everywhere just to add some depth to the house. And you don't need to do this everywhere, but you can. If you want to add even more to the house, you can add these like little, I don't even know what you'd call it, but it doesn't need to go around the whole house. But now let's look at this. This doesn't look very nice at all. What I like to do is, once again, just be random with it. Keep some green stuff in there. Something like this, and then you get some flowers. You want more assortments than just these, but just this should be fine. And last but not least, tip numero 10. Before we move to the inside of the house, let's talk about lighting really quick. As you can see, there are no lights on this house whatsoever. That's not good for two reasons. One, it doesn't look very good because sometimes lights can make the house look better. And two, obviously at night, you want lights on your house. So one of the things I like doing, instead of having just like lights strung up anywhere, you can make it so it kind of like comes off the house. So you could do something like that. Looks pretty good. And you can do the same thing here. You can make some cool design, whatever you want. Just add some lanterns to add some light to the house. Or even up here if you want, you can add some lanterns. You can add chains. One thing I would say though, if you're gonna use chains, make them different lengths. So I'll have one that's like that level, and then I'll bring another one down to the next level. So something like that. Something like that. It just, especially with shaders, just makes the house look so much better. Like it already brings so much liveliness to the house. Also with the roof, if you don't like the roof like this, you can also make it all the way to a tip. Sometimes I don't like going all the way up though because it looks a little odd. Yeah, for the front of the house, I think the front of the house is good. The side of the house, we'll get to that. But now let's go inside. We'll start at the bottom. Tip number 9. In here, it looks very, very bland. There's not much in here to like look at. So what you can do is you can add things like this for some lighting. Obviously, you don't want the same flower on each one, but you can switch it up. One of the things I like to do most in my houses is add rooms. Something like this, and then we can have a doorway right here. I don't really like having flat walls like this, but sometimes you can add it just so it doesn't get repetitive. And just in the hallway, you can just hang some lights. Doesn't need to be anything too crazy or sophisticated. Just hang some lights. Not there. You can make something like that. And you can have your bed right here. You run in here, you go to whatever you need to do. And yeah, these are just cool rooms you can have. Obviously, you can still go through this way, but I mean, it just kind of makes it look better. In tight areas, I like having the spiral staircases because it's easy. But we're still not done down here. The floor is okay, but what I like to do in houses like this, especially with spruce wood, this will look really good, is use deep slate. Now you can either use the bricks or the tiles. I really like the tiles. I don't know why, but I love the tiles so much. They look so nice. And there we go. We changed all of it to tiles, and I really like the way the tiles look because it actually looks like flooring. And yeah, this floor I think is done. You'll just add whatever you want. You can add something here if you want, like a trophy or something, and it'll just bring the house together. Now since it's nighttime, let's look at what this house looks like now. Alright, let's get rid of this monstrosity. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. So we're gonna get rid of this whole entire thing. Now let me quickly add that to this and add all that and all the other stuff to the back. First off, this is what the back looks like before. While I'm making these additions, if you are enjoying this video and are actually learning stuff, please leave a like. This is taking a while to make, and I really hope you guys do learn something throughout this video. And this is what the backside looks like now. I just broke the glass here, made the pillars, added some like interesting textures like that, and just add like a little campfire thing here. Nothing too crazy, but it looks so much better. Now I gotta find the pillars. Yeah, here they are. Like I said, if you're gonna use pillars, take them all the way up. So something I would recommend for a house this big is setting pillars connecting everything. Now you don't have to add these. This kind of just makes it kind of look more like a farmy type house. And also a good way to make your house look even better, like on the sides here, is do the exact same thing. And then once we're in here, you can make like little things like this connecting all the pillars. And now if we go all the way to the top, you can use this to hang down your lights. And now it gives kind of like an ambient environment. You can put whatever you want up here. I wouldn't recommend putting rooms up here since you have these big things showing out. But you can do whatever. You you can make rooms. You can do things like this, like add more struts in so it looks like more, I don't know, industrial. And I think this house is done. If you're known for making bad houses, make something like this with these, like implement these methods or implement some of your own methods. But just try these and see if you like them. Quick honorable mention real quick when building houses, don't make the same thing every time because then you'll get burned out. Like if I made something like this, I would go and then try and build something like on a tree or in a cave or underground or something different every time. Just so you don't get burned out of building the same thing. That'll also help you like keep enjoying building. So this is what we started with. Then we made that into something like this, which also looks very nice. And then we made that. We just made a new house and used all the methods I got, and this is what we ended with. If you guys did enjoy this video and you did learn something, please leave a like. Pretty please. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know if you want any more tips on any other building types. And peace.